My name is Rachel. I am a pediatric nurse practitioner by background, and I'm just really thrilled to have each and every one of you here with us today, joining us in Scottsdale. This is the best week of the year, and I love that we have the opportunity to come together, share our stories, share our experiences, cry together, laugh together, and then also learn some really awesome stuff, right? So in the heartbreak that can be Duchenne, there is so much good. And I think that this is a really wonderful way to bring us each together and find that good. So today what we're gonna do is dig into the 101 of Duchenne, the basics of Duchenne. We're gonna set you up for success because starting this afternoon when we open up main conference, there's gonna be a ton of information coming at you. There's gonna be talk of dystrophin and AAV and vectors and PMOs and a lot of things that don't make a whole lot of sense. So let's get you a really great baseline by which to view conference. So view conference through this lens, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and dig into a couple of these slides. I'm gonna be really honest, I did not do these slides myself. We unfortunately had a team member who was not able to be here, and I hope that at some point you each have the opportunity to meet Dr. Mayna Scavina. She's a neurologist at Nemours Children's Health in Wilmington, Delaware. She is also the clinical care team advisor at PPMD, and she's just kind and wonderful. And like I said, I really look forward to the day that you might get to meet her in person. So we'll start off with a little bit about Parent Project Muscular Dystrophy. So we have a very important guest of honor in the room, and her name's Pat Furlong. And if you haven't met her yet, you will. Pat's here in the front, and she is our fearless, fearless leader. There will never be enough applause for her and all of the work that she has done to bring us together to build this organization into what it is today, and I'm really just honored to be even a small part of it. So PPMD was founded in 1994, and it is the largest, most comprehensive nonprofit in the US focused entirely on Duchenne muscular dystrophy. There's lots of organizations in this space that cover lots of different diagnoses, but PPMD is the biggest Duchenne-specific organization in the US, and that's something that we're really incredibly proud of. Everything that is done is to help those with Duchenne live longer and stronger lives, and you're gonna learn a lot about how we're structured to focus on things like research, advocacy, optimal clinical care, and bringing the community together to create that sense of engagement and connection. We demand optimal care standards and strive to ensure that every single family has access to expert healthcare providers, cutting-edge treatments, and community support. You'll hear a little bit about our certified Duchenne Care Center program, which is a network of hospitals around the country that delivers high-level, comprehensive, coordinated, standardized care, and how we want that program to reach every single family, no matter where you live. We also invest in treatments for this generation and research that will benefit future generations. We've invested millions and millions and millions of dollars into the development of novel therapies that have gone from the bench to the bedside that have changed lives. And we recognize that there are many therapies still in development that could make a significant difference. And you're gonna learn a lot about those this week. We also believe really strongly that advocacy is critical. So we advocate at the federal and state level, and we've secured millions of dollars of funding and FDA approvals. So every March, we go to Washington, D.C., and we raise our voices on the Hill, and we tell the federal government, invest in Duchenne, invest in muscular dystrophy, invest in our boys to make a difference for this and future generations. Okay, I'm gonna move over here because now the words are really little. So let's talk a little bit more in depth about care for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So through all of the efforts that PPMD has put forth since 1994, we have been able to collaborate with our professionals and our healthcare experts in the field to, on average, add about 10 years to the typical lifespan due to all of these advances. And every single day is critical, and every single day is important with our boys. And to have another 10 years over the last 25 is really spectacular, and I can't wait to see what this number grows to in the future. We've got more than 30 certified clinics across the US. We had a couple of year break there because COVID kept us grounded, and I wasn't allowed to leave my house in Columbus, Ohio, and go and visit these expert, amazing clinics. So we're really proud to see this number grow and reach even more families. Of those 30-plus clinics, we've got over 750 care providers, neurologists, physical therapists, endocrinologists, anything across the gamut. These people are invested and committed to caring for families with Duchenne, and we're so grateful for them. We've also got a history of more than 20 years of identifying and addressing gaps in care through specialty workshops and consensus meetings. Just this past spring, we had an expert consensus meeting on Duchenne cardiac care, and it really acted as a stepping stone for us for future steps in our cardiac initiative and what that can look like to truly create transformative cardiac Duchenne care. I'm actually really excited because you're going to hear more about that later on today. You know, I told the guys back in AV I had a master's degree, so I should be able to work this, but a little overconfident. All right, bear with me. Can we go back one slide? Yep, that one. Okay, perfect. This is a quick map of our Certified Duchenne Care Center network that I referred to. So there are definitely some holes in this map, and I fully recognize that. If you live in Wyoming, I don't have any certified care. Luckily, there's not a ton of people in Wyoming, and I've got some really great professional friends in the states surrounding. But it is my goal, and it is our goal as an organization to have a certified center in every single US state so that no family has to go without excellent, above and beyond top-notch Duchenne care. You'll see a little yellow star there. That's a little bit different. We'll probably talk about it a little bit later on in conference, but I will call out that's actually a really cool new venture that we've started. We believe that carrier care is just as important as Duchenne care. And just this spring, we were able to partner with Dr. Maina Scavina, who I mentioned, and the University of Pennsylvania Inherited Cardiomyopathies Clinic to launch our very first carrier care pilot clinic. This is early days. We're really excited to see what multidisciplinary care for Duchenne carriers looks like. Women carriers and their hearts and their bodies need care too, and you certainly need care if you're gonna provide the best possible care for your children. So we are really pumped to tell you more about this clinic as we learn more and we take the learnings from this pilot and see where it will lead us. My dream? I want a network of certified centers for carriers, just like for our boys. All right, so we'll shift a little bit to engagement within our community. So engagement is critically important. Most of you have probably met Nicole, who is our VP of Development and Community Engagement, and she has an amazing team that brings people together. And we are so grateful for her team and all of the hard work that they do. They have 29 PPMD Connect locations throughout the US. So many of you are probably engaged with these PPMD Connect groups. These are groups that are parent-led, community outreach, geographically based support groups. And I love these groups because if I have a family from Omaha, Nebraska reach out to me and say, Rachel, I'm in Omaha. I need to find another family who knows what I'm going through. I can reach out to my teammate Jamie and say, Jamie, who do we have in Omaha? And within 20 minutes, she's probably got them connected to another family. So please know that while Duchenne can sometimes feel incredibly isolating, you are not alone, and we are here to keep you connected with families, friends, and a network of people who understand where you've been and are happy to walk that path right alongside of you. We also have over 5,500 patients and carriers across the globe who have registered within our Duchenne registry since its launch. And how many years are we into the registry? 15 years. This Duchenne registry is amazing. Not only does it make you citizen scientists that can advance Duchenne research and push forward the development of transformative therapies, but it also acts as a tool to keep you engaged and aware and notified of potential clinical trial opportunities for your family to participate in. If you're not signed up already, you'll hear more about it, but please get in that registry. There is so much power that comes from this registry. We've also raised more than $40 million through our Race to End Duchenne and family-led grassroots events since '94. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. From families running 5Ks, marathons, riding their bikes through the boroughs of New York City, or doing a 1.K dash in the streets of Grand Rapids. This is powerful stuff. You matter, your voice matters, your advocacy matters, because we take that $40 million and we invest it back into the community to make a difference. We can't do this without you. More than 1,400 families reached in person through 28 annual conferences and Duchenne tour stops, roundtable discussions, and advocacy conferences. 1,400 families, and each and every one of them is important and critical and so dear and precious to us. So thank you for being here today and being part of this movement, because it matters. So we have this really amazing teen and adult community, and they have their own special track this week, and they're gonna have some really cool conversations, and you're not gonna be privy to most of them because we like to create a special, safe, closed space for our teens and adults with Duchenne, because that's really important to them and to us. We recently started a tween program that offers social opportunities throughout the year for individuals with guys with Duchenne and Becker and girls between ages 9 and 13. If you have questions about that, let us know. We'll get them plugged in so that they can connect. Sometimes that means, chats over Facebook, and sometimes that means playing video games together. It can look like a lot of different things, but we recognized that from our learnings from our PPMD Adult Advisory Committee that our tweens needed a way to engage, and so we've created that, and we're really happy that it exists. We also have our Adult Advisory Committee. So this is made up of 24 individuals living with Duchenne and Becker. They serve in leadership roles. They work on a lot of different efforts, including mentorship of those teens and tweens, and then convening of teens and adults at our annual conference. So they've got, like I said, their dedicated track here, and they participate in working groups and committees to advocate on behalf of the Duchenne community. So these are men who want to be leaders within their community and are really embracing who they are and saying, I am whomever, I have Duchenne, and I'm gonna make a difference in my community. These are awesome, awesome guys. You do have to be 18. We open applications every fall, and we look forward to bringing in new faces all the time and making sure that we're continuing to push forward and give these guys a voice to make a difference. Through this PAC, we recently launched PAC Chats, which is a social networking platform. I'm told that the guys on the PAC get a blue check, just like on Instagram and Twitter, very, very fancy. And that is available for download in the App Store. And it's just a really cool way to bring the guys together through a mode of technology that makes sense for them, that they can really fold into their day-to-day lives. And so that's available for guys 16 and plus. Advocacy. So I am not the best person to talk about advocacy. That guy is right here. That's Ryan Fisher, our Chief Advocacy Officer, and he will tell you all of the things about advocacy, but I'll at least scratch the surface, okay? So through our efforts in advocacy, there have been 4 different bills signed into law reshaping the Duchenne landscape. The MD Care Act has been transformational for people with Duchenne and what that means for legislation and for funding for research. There have been more than 13,000 messages and action alerts sent to congressional offices by families just like you. You can participate in our annual advocacy conference, whether in person or virtual, and throughout the year, reach out to your legislators and advocate on behalf of your family and on behalf of your child, and make sure that they know who you are. And when they see your name, they're like, yep, I know them, I met them. They are fierce advocates for the field of Duchenne, and they listen, and it's really amazing to see these long-term relationships that start to bloom from all of the grassroots advocacy that people just like you do. There have also been more than 2,500 meetings with members of Congress. That is so cool. It looks a lot different now in this virtual world, and after the events of a year and a half ago on the Capitol. But myself having advocated, the first time I did it, I was so scared because I'm like, I don't know this senator. I don't know this representative. They don't know me. I can't do this, but you can. You don't have to know advocacy. You don't have to know the federal government. You have to know your child and be able to tell that story. And that's what really sticks with them. And that's what gets them to think about us and our community and our efforts and our interests when they're doing their work on the Hill and signing things into law and making significant changes at the federal level. And that's impactful. Okay, I think I beat myself to the punchline. how you can advocate. So if this is something that's of interest to you, and you can do this from your home, in your office, from your phone, whatever, you can sign up to become an advocate and receive these action alerts, which are basically just like, hey, here's an opportunity to advocate, send an email, make a phone call. So if that's something that's interesting, you can go to our website /advocacy alerts and get signed up, and we'll assist you. So we can help you organize district meetings with your local reps. We can ask you to contribute to preference studies, represent our community at meetings with federal agencies. Adults with Duchenne were actually the first patient representatives to serve on an FDA advisory committee with FDA decisions. Like, holy smokes, that's so cool. Duchenne is leading the way amongst so many different rare diseases, and I love to see it. As I mentioned, you can attend our advocacy conference. That's in March of each year, usually in person until the pandemic happened, and well, who knows what next year has to hold. The last 2 years being virtual, though, was actually super cool because so many more people were able to advocate and raise their voice, and there's a lot to be said for that. Okay. Other ways to get involved. So I've talked a little bit about these things. So PPMD Connect, those are those local parent-led Connect outreach groups throughout the US. If you're not engaged in one, let us know. We'll get you hooked up, we'll get you connected, plugged in with those groups. They have occasional events for socials, for support, questions about medical equipment and places to go to find a good physical therapist in your area, all kinds of good resources in these groups, and those are Facebook-based. We talked about the Race to End Duchenne, so maybe this is something as big as the Disney Marathon or something small like a 5K or a 0.1K in your community. If this is something that suits you, if you're a runner or if you're like me and you're not a runner, but you can walk 0.1K, and you want to use this as a means to raise awareness within your community, let us know. We'll help you get it set up. We've got a whole team. They'll walk you through it, give you all of the tools and resources. And then DIY fundraising. So maybe running isn't your thing. Maybe you want to have a dance-off or a golf outing or a wine tasting. I don't care, whatever suits you. If that's what you want to do, if that's your thing and you want to use it to raise awareness within your communities, let us know. We will give you all of the tools to be successful. Okay, you've heard me talk enough. I am the least exciting person that you're going to hear from today. You're going to really love this next speaker with whom I share the same first name, so Rachel Callender. She's going to talk about being diagnosed and the words that you hear at that time of diagnosis. We've had the privilege of working with Rachel on several projects, which she will probably reference during her talk, but just get ready because she is going to knock your socks off. Then we'll go into a break. We'll hear from Ann Martin, who is one of our genetic counselors on staff. She's going to talk about the genetics and the Duchenne spectrum and help to lay a framework because genetics are super confusing. And then we're going to hear from me again. I am not Maina Scavina, about comprehensive Duchenne care, which this is my bread and butter. I love talking about care. So I'll try to keep it brief because I could go all day. Then we'll hear from Dr. Stan Nelson. Stan Nelson is a geneticist at UCLA. He has spent his entire life researching Duchenne. He's also a Duchenne dad. So you're in for a real treat for him as he talks about clinical trials and how to make sense of the clinical trial landscape because that is its own world and its own language in and of itself. From there, we'll do some Q&A, head to lunch, and then the real party gets started at 2 o'clock. So we're glad you're here. I hope that you find this helpful and valuable. Thank you so much.